is, of course.
Well, we're ready now that you mentioned it. Let's go ahead and check out our battleground that we're going to be going into. Now, do remember, we have played already 2 of the battlegrounds. 2 are banned out, which you can see here. beGenius banned out Braxis Holdout. Sky Temple was banned out by the Playing Ducks. And now we are going into Infernal Shrines, which is the pickup here for beGenius. So, Infernal Shrines, we had it not in our first matchup because it was banned out, but we saw it often in the last series last weekend. So again, one that Kerrigan's kind of fallen off a little bit more in there, but we're seeing some more globals occurring once not. We're seeing these really aggressive comms that get in the engagement and really back up the Punisher jumping in.
I still like the idea going into draft of Dahaka control is cool. He came in way late towards the end of that draft. But I think he is a good playmaker, so let's see how this is going to go.
Okay, well, we'll see that. As Playing Ducks will have the first ban, they will also get first pick. Will they hold off on the Tassadar ban as they should? There is Ragnaros banned out. beGenius should ban out Tassadar. If they left it open, this is probably actually one of the worst teams to leave it open against anyone in the HGC because we saw so much Tracer and Tassadar during the qualifiers. Tracer and Tassadar actually got the Playing Ducks, in my opinion, to the HGC because they played it so well in the qualifiers. They were the first to pick up on that synergy.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Let's see what they're going to go down now. They went for Falstad in the previous game. Not as their first, because they weren't first pick, but maybe they even go for Tychus. Try and kind of limit the control of that.
Yeah, I think the Tychus pick is it. It just seems to be the real playmaker for both teams here. If you get Tychus, you're usually in a really good spot. And Diamond Skin is all on point here. The Playing Ducks really wanting to be on point with the Tychus.
I mean, until we see shifts in the warrior meta, I want to call it, Tychus is always just going to be so viable. Or if Tychus sees a little bit of a nerf towards how much damage you can push out towards warriors, so he's going to be sticking around.
Which is interesting because in North America he has an abysmal win rate. He gets picked off so much in North America, but over here in Europe, man, he's just an absolute powerhouse. It's so interesting to look at the comparison between the 2 metas and how things shake out. beGenius moves into the Malfurion pick, and why not, man? Malfurion has been played very well here by Unstable, and there is ETC for those engagements that you definitely need on this battleground.
Beyond some of the niche warriors, I think ETC is the absolute best warrior right now for a lot of these teams. Just provides so much frontline, provides great CC potential, provides great potential for roaming early on in the game. He's strong at all phases of the game is the best way for me to describe ETC.
Gotta agree with you, and his heroics are just so outstanding that you have to respect them and use cleanse and reposition because of it. Just talking about this battleground, though, you talk about niche picks, and Diablo starts surfing in my mind. We've already talked about it. He's more of the bouncer, if you will. Yeah, Dibbles. He kind of holds chokes really well about the shrines. Alternative facts, if you want to go down that route. He was, in fact, a bouncer at a club a long time ago. No one ever got past him, and they were, unless they were, of course, wearing the correct dress code. So he is very good at holding those front lines.
Yeah. And it will be Falstad Dahaka. So kind of sticking with the same air that we saw last game, I think. For Playing Ducks, these are powerful, powerful pickups.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if they go for the 3 globals. I think on this battleground you lose value on it. You can get the soaking potential that occurs, but you do need some fight around the shrine phase. Now, Dahaka with adaptation at level 10, he can be that front line that you're going to need to hold off onto, but if beGenius goes aggressive on the holding the front lines, will be good to go. Now, beGenius, now understanding the strength of Diablo, will ban him out on this battleground. Don't want to deal with it. Now, Kerrigan, if she does get picked, this is where we start to see her in the 3rd and 4th slot. Now, looking at what Playing Ducks has, I would be a bit fearful playing into Kerrigan, or Kerrigan playing into that, just because if you go for the engage, Dahaka's tongue is relatively easy to set up and get the engage and stop her entire combo.
I'm wondering what they're going to focus on. For me, beGenius, I want one of the 3. I want either Thrall, Artanis, or Zarya. And then if Zarya was there, maybe coupling it up with a Valor wouldn't be too bad at all with multi-shot, mostly build, the normal build. I wonder what Playing Ducks is going to focus on, though. I guess a damage? Is it Zeratul? Yeah. Okay.
They take that out. They take away Jaina, which could be strong on the front phase. She clears relatively well, can play safe. Jaina is still a valid pickup, though, in my opinion, on this battleground in particular, because you get the ability to really just set up and just clear shrines with relatively easy movement. You have the Blizzard to help up if someone sets it up and goes for the clear. Could work out for them.
Yeah, I like that ban. I like that ban on the Zeratul. beGenius. It's really tough. It's really, really tough, because now that has limited a lot of the wombo potential.
Do they pick up Murden here to keep Dahaka off of it? Pick up Murden, go for double tank. That gives you the engage that you want. Dahaka has a harder time in double tank. If he goes for a tongue, Murden Swordbolt can stop it, or Power Slide can go for the stop as well. So you can save any teammates that might get picked off.
How much of your front line gets shredded then, though? Because it could easily be Season Marksman, Falstad, with Tychus, then with the potential vulnerability coming out from Dahaka. There's the Thrall that I wanted.
There's the Thrall that you're wanting. Good.
Okay.
Good to see it, and then Li Ming is taken away here. I don't think Li Ming would have gotten picked up by playing Ducks with them having Falstad and Tychus already, but Li Ming does give you that reset potential. If you get a clear on Falstad, because it's probably the squishiest target here, you can maneuver from there. Now, playing Ducks, now that they see a Li Ming, you want to get maybe some kind of an unkillable comp. Murden, gosh, is just a juicy choice for them. Like, if you pick up Murden, you're relatively good against that Li Ming. Thrall has some trouble with the lockdown. He'll have to go Giant Killer.
So this is the way which beGenius... The reason I wanted the Thrall, just to kind of elaborate a bit more, is the way that beGenius played Game 1 and Game 2 has a stark contrast to this current comp that they're running. This is a bit more aggressive. This is tank for the win, being on the Thrall and trying to find really strong plays here and there. Didn't quite find it in the previous game with the Zeratul. Thrall, though, is one of his absolute best picks. So that's why I kind of wanted that.
All right, well, there's Johanna and Rhaegar. Johanna gives that front line that we were talking about. So the only ones that have to be scared of possibly getting poked down by a Li Ming combo is Falstad here. Rhaegar is relatively mobile, can dodge for the most part if he has his Wolf or Ghost Wolf available. So now we look at the 5th pick for beGenius. They have Li Ming poke, they have Malfurion, they have Thrall, decent engage with potential Earthquake. Although Sundering wouldn't be too bad here.
I'm erring on the side of something odd, like a Sylvanas. But it's actually quite difficult. So, like, I don't know if I want a double tank with a Thrall because Tychus is there and Falstad potential with the Season Marksman, and then... But...
The problem with Sylvanas, I see where you're going with that, but Falstad Dahaka gets really scary to play against because you naturally start overextending because you want to get the value out of Sylvanas.
Yeah.
But if beGenius is feeling comfortable in their rotations and their communications, they could go down that route. I don't know what else would be crazy for them. There's Zul. Okay.
Similar pushing power to kind of what I was wanting, but then kind of a little bit more extra, I think, team fight impact. Beside the idea of a Wailing Arrow on Sylvanas, like when she's in a team fight, you always see Sylvanas at the end of games like, oh wow, she's got so much hero damage, but it's not effective hero damage, right? It's all just like, I've been using Quivering Arrow on you for the entire laning phase, and I got so much damage, but it actually doesn't matter in the team fight. So, yeah.
So Zul also brings in the wave clear you're mentioning about between the middle and the bottom lane. You can get him to actually separate, especially if the shrine is in the top or in the bottom. That's Zul's playground at that point. You usually just give up the shrine, you move 4 of your members there and try to poke it down, and then have Zul dance between the two, which makes the globals in the opposing team make 2 decisions. Either A, they help soak and just prevent that from happening, which takes away their global power, or they go for an all-engage in the top lane. And if the 4 people pull back, Zul takes that advantage, pushes middle and bottom lane, and gets yourself an experience lead. Now, if they can get experience lead and grab the Punisher, beGenius can be in a good spot. But I like the play here. They're saying, okay, if you want to run globals, we're going to put pressure on you. And how you respond is how we're going to make sure that we're set up to make the correct plays. It could work out for them. Again, Zul needs to get the lead in the early game for this team, or they could fall apart relatively heavily, but you can really see how Zul just brings in so much to end this team comp.
Yeah, it's a different team comp for beGenius. If they're ever going to win a game in this series, well, not only does it have to be now, but it's a different change of pace for them, so it definitely could happen. But I still think playing Ducks might have it.
I think so too. I'm kind of agree with you, especially the way they've been playing. It's time for game number 3. We will find out. Can Playing Ducks walk away with a 3-0, or will beGenius start the comeback right here? So here we are on the far left. Here are the Playing Ducks. Kalaris, please give us the introduction.
Thank you very much. As we do have Wolf Joe going to be playing said Rhaegar wherever he may be. Chrisplosion will be on the Johanna. We will have coming up Sport Billy going to be on
Falstad. He has to be on Falstad, yeah.
Chris is on something else, and then somebody is on something else. That was the best intro of all time.
It was perfect intro. On the far right, beGenius in red. Oh, they're lined up for me. Donatan and the ETC take for the win on Thrall. Kira with the Li Ming unstable here on Malfurion, and rounding out the roster, Erikine will be playing Zul.
All right, let's get it on. Let's get it on. One more game for Playing Ducks to round out this series. Now, they have, it's not like, I guess, their negotiation with Playing Ducks has been going on for a while, but if they were able to eke out the win here, at the first game for Playing Ducks, that it makes your organization happy. That puts you in a better position in the HGC Europe for your organization. So definitely looking to start with the new organization with a bang.
Yeah, gotta agree with you. Plus, getting that win just gives you a sigh of relief. You just get a new organization and you come out losing. That definitely has to hurt your ego, of course. So Playing Ducks looking for that 3-0 here against beGenius. Can they secure it? Now, Zul has begun what he always does so well, which is pushing lanes. Normally, for you at home, what you want to do is you want to guide that Zul for a little bit. Don't just put him in lanes by himself at the very beginning. He will get picked off, and he will have a hard time keeping up with the rotations. Ferry him between the lanes and make sure they get that wave break.
Good dash by Chris. We'll just make sure he's escaped and away. Now, the top lane, Dahaka versus Thrall. A lot of people consider Thrall to be one of the best solo laners, but likewise, Dahaka is equal. I feel that this is a very, very skill-based solo lane. Both can beat each other if you are rubbish at one of the matchups, but yeah, so that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, that primal aggression, I feel like it's a little towards Dahaka, actually, because he gets to be aggressive, but he has to use the brush talk if he messes up. Which can be painful, but yeah, I agree with you. It's a matchup that's all about who is the better player in that matchup and who really has the patience too.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first shrine has activated and it's in the middle, which is actually a little bit on the painful side for Zul. He doesn't get as much value. This is a good spawn for Playing Ducks, as they're able to dictate they want to grab this shrine, but also stop Zul from the aggressive pressure that he can put in the bottom and the middle lane.
Good wave play. It's been a long time since I've played Johanna on this map, but it does feel damn good when you get some nice condemns on this into the shield bash. So that's what Chrisplosion will be looking for here, getting himself a nice little lead on those little skeletal minions, as Danatan Unstable Kieva and Arakan will come onto this shrine location and see what they can wrestle away with. But Dahaka at the bot this whole time is just going to push that lane, whilst this is very even in the mid.
Ooh, he goes for the flank, and Nande pops in. Will get immediately power slide here, but there's the tongue on Erikine. Erikine actually came into the rotation to help clear this wave, but right now Playing Ducks is slightly ahead, 32 to 27. And if you have Zul here, you're not getting the advantage that you would normally get. So they have to win this shrine phase. 38 to 29. Chrisplosion in trouble, but he's going to be able to get poked there. It's Chris, the original Chris, is actually going to be taken out here, but the Punisher does go to the Playing Ducks.
It's a bit of a shame that they actually lost Chris there, because Nande played that really well in my mind, which was they were very even on the skeletal minions, but then when that Brush Stalker came in from Nande, he actually caused so much disruption that gave Playing Ducks the lead and thus almost the guaranteed secured Punisher. So I don't think Chris had to go too far forwards there. He would have still been fine and they would have still got the Punisher, but whatever, they've done well.
Yep, a slight kill gives beGenius a slight lead in experience. So the next phase that it comes down to when these shrines pop up and we go towards it, I'm going to watch Zul's move. He wants to be in two lanes of game at the same time if he can. So depending on where the shrine goes, we'll watch Zul and see if they can get towards level 10 quickly.
Yeah. The one minor thing that I want to say off that Punisher is that if Chris did survive, they would have got themselves a tower or two at the front because they would have had the power to push behind that Punisher. But because they didn't, so they kind of give up that slight experience, which means that beGenius still has that slight lead. So it's like knock-on effects. We see that a lot in Heroes of the Storm.
The little things matter, man. Losing your assassin means you can't get structures, which means you can't get experience, and it all is a big domino effect. I'm watching beGenius here. With their ability to Zul push, they should start grabbing Mercenary Camp soon, because they should have the ability to do that, and they are now, actually. ETC and Li Ming are grabbing them in the bottom right, so starting off with the engage, and they also just hit level 7 at the same time, so the Echo Pedal will also help out with Dano 10 in that clear. Kiro helps them out, so they get pressure on the middle lane.
All right, so let's see how it's going to get cleaned up overall with the power of the globals that they do have. The hacker up towards top, still sticking around. The hard camp being started. Is Rhaegar started the hard camp, or is he just observing it? Oh, right, okay, so this was done a while ago.
Yeah, they're waiting for beGenius to start there, so they have that natural clash. In fact, they probably wanted to push a little bit towards their favor. With Primal Aggression, Daka can clear that really easy. So playing Ducks going for the patient game, and that way they can clear beGenius's push, and that will help them set up for the next Shrine phase, which should be spawning. Oh. There it is now here. And this is unfortunate because they definitely wanted to be in the bottom lane.
Yeah, exactly. Both teams, unfortunately, with that hard camp going to be secured in a moment. But still, Rhaegar actually delaying that for a moment, as you said, gives them that natural advantage where it's slightly on their side of the map, so they can try and clean up the hard camp a little easier. But Thrall and Malfurion were guiding it and assisting it against Johanna quite nicely.
So let's see how Zul will handle the situation. Normally, we would put him in the middle and the bottom, and luckily playing Ducks, they actually have a 10-1 lead in the minion phase here, as they've already cleared up a number of them. Dahaka and Fawcett are set up in a bush, though, to get on Zul in the middle lane. Will they actually secure that kill? It's looking like they're not going for it. Zul does escape, and while we have the attention up here in the top lane, we can see what the playing Ducks are doing to keep this lead here. They have to be careful, though, with this level 9 and 3/4 available for beGenius. 1 kill equals level 10.
And Nanda attempts to get that tongue on towards the drag and was unable to do so. So at least they've wrestled them off the shrine for a little bit. They absolutely need to do this as quickly as possible, because as you say, if that level 10 does hit here, as beGenius, look at them, they were even doing some tower damage there just to try and secure themselves 10 as quickly as possible. As Chris has to move away. He's disjointed from his team at the moment. Here comes the level 10. There goes the Earthquake.
The Earthquake on Nande will be a kill for beGenius. A massive mosh pit, though. Sport Billy the first to go, and the Calamity from Li Ming will be 3 instantaneous kills there for beGenius. They're looking for more with Chris C. Can
trying to
get the 3 minions? Nope. And beGenius should be able to clear this and get their first Punisher of the game.
Chris being separated off down to the bottom left there. If that hadn't have happened, there was maybe that small opportunity where they could have got those last 3 minions with Chris's firepower, Chris's DPS, despite them losing the entire team. But I still don't think it's worth it. Like, just overstaying your welcome there and getting a Punisher, which you can do nothing with, is not worth it in that instance.
Yeah, gotta agree with you, Colaris here. And now beGenius taking what they can and push down the top lane. Everyone from Blade Ducks are doing their best to clear out this Punisher. Danatan, though, leading the charge, looking for a possible power slide. Chris will pop Odin to help out with the clear. Can they save this fort? It's actually very important they do so against a Zul comp.
All right, so let's see now. As they do clean that up, at least they don't lose the fort. And I'm just moving down towards the bottom. They're on on towards Nanda, though, as he will cleanse himself basically with that burrow. But that's too much lockdown. Even burning skeletal mages for that. But oh well, a kill's a kill.
Wow, Chris Bojan actually goes in for the engage here on Li Ming. If they had a hammering follow-up, they may have been able to get the kill, but that will not be the case here. And 12-10, beGenius, for the first time in this series, takes an actual substantial lead, it feels like, against the playing Ducks.
Not doing too badly here. Danatan at the front, holding on strong. And again, I have to commend them on the change of pace in their draft, but here comes Sport Billy with that, and they attempt, oh no, the Twilight Dream gets cancelled down. Perfect plays here by playing Duck to get themselves back into it. 2 kills going down very quickly. Sport Billy once again with the gusts.
Yeah, shout out to Sports Billy making the mighty gust, but also Chris Explosion there with the Condemn into the Blessed Shield that interrupted the Twilight Dream. Had that gone off, I feel like he would have died, but there would have been a chance for ETC to fall up with a power slide into a mosh pit with a Li Ming reset. So great hold by the tank player there, Chris Explosion, and great engage by the Falstad mighty gust. Sport Billy showing why he can be a powerhouse on this hero.
Gotta be careful, Danatan, my friend. If Dahaka was leading that 4-man, then all sorts of bad things could have happened then. But nope, not to be the case. Li Ming towards the top. Falstad getting a little bit close to both of them up there. And level 13s have already come in. An attempt to try and push him forwards there with the wave of force into Zul, but not to be.
Too adamant on it. So Shrine now activating 13 to 12. Playing Ducks are using their global pressure here to soak 13 ASAP here, as the Shrine will now be activating. They're also getting pressure in the bottom lane here to force their opponents to maybe come deal with the Impalers that will be shredding down their turret. All of beGenius, though, for the first time this game here, has actually gotten the lead on the Shrines and will be setting up already. Here goes Odin popping up. Explosion goes for the engage. All heroics are available. Watch Sports Billy in the top left.
That's what I was looking for, the Gust there, to try and keep them in place while Odin can go to work on some of that front line there. As Tank for the win, as well as down to Tank getting out. Sport Billy, Ancestral Heal on towards him, making sure he's going to stay alive as the chase for him with Skeletal Mages was underway. So 13 against 13. The Commandeer Odin is a great tool to zone out from this, but now it is gone. Now it's Earthquake time. Burrow there from him. Danatan charges in. Denial of that mosh pit from doing anything, but 2 go down anyway. What a great fight for beGenius.
Kirwa is just getting reset after reset into a third reset as he picks off 3 players from playing Ducks. And I like that from beGenius. They had to make a play. They had pressure in the middle lane and the bottom lane hitting them, but at the same time, they had their own pressure in the top lane. As you see, there is already pressure on this keep wall. They're going to be awarded the Arcane Punisher here in the middle lane.
It feels for me like whenever I watch beGenius in HGC Europe and beyond, Kirva on Li Ming, I feel it's his strongest hero, but he doesn't get many chances to actually play it. So you can clearly see during this game at the moment why it is so strong. As you were mentioning those resets before, I would like to see him more on it throughout the HGC Europe.
Gotta agree with you. Kirwa's playing a solid Li Ming here. I do want to shout out the Sports Billy was playing a bit too aggressive in that problem there on the top left. He actually engaged into a Zul who gave the Bone Prism, which put him down to low health, which forced Rhaegar to bring in the Ancestral Healing, which prevented any saving from happening when the Odin did finish off. So although he's been playing like almost a legend this entire game, there are a couple things that are hurting. He needs to be a bit careful with those engages, especially near a Zul player. So
stealing away their hard camp as well, as looks like Nande can't do anything about that. No reason for him to even try. He does not. They don't have level 16, so gonna have to start soaking things, cleaning up that hard camp as well. Now, what are the timers on these bottom camps? I think they just came up, right? Oh yeah, they did. So beGenius gets it. This is perfect timing for them.
Yeah, and at the same time, playing Ducks in the top lane, just soaking lanes. They're attempting to get to level 16 while playing safely. Danatan, though, does realize 3 members are missing, and he plays aggressively on this fort as he wants to set up for maybe a power slide on Sports Billy. And at that point, you can even do a solo mosh if you get that kill. Yeah. So Sports Billy playing as safe as possible. In the middle lane, Dahaka was soaking as well. And there looks like a play from playing Ducks is happening in the top right. They're putting pressure on that fort just to get themselves that experience that they ever so need.
Yeah, these rotations are good from beGenius. It's like they've found themselves that rhythm, so they'll take every camp down here, and that's the prize for getting themselves so far ahead in the experience. So playing Ducks, they're actually going to get themselves 16 at a pretty decent time. You know, they've lost forts, but they haven't lost any keep walls that then start meaning that a Punisher would threaten a keep very quickly because everybody could follow up on it. But are they using this as bait or? Okay, they're just waiting till false start goes where. Whoa!
Okay, all right, just going straight for the kill on Kirwa here. Can he get him? Kirwa is forced to blink. Wolfjaw should be able to pop blessed shield, and wow, that was a play that I was not expecting to actually develop there. But Kirwa gets killed off there. Heads up play, heads up communication. Kudos to playing Ducks.
Did Sport Billy even see him?
All he saw was a Merc Camp grab.
Yes.
He could have been diving into 2 to 3 members.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. That was just, it was well played.
That's guts right there.
That is guts. That is guts.
Well, Shrine activates to the very tippy top of the battleground here as Johanna and Rhaegar will start collecting these minions, and this looks like a free punish here for the playing Ducks. As Fall sits in the middle of the map too, still soaking Dahaka holding the top lane at the same time. Now in 4 seconds, Li Ming will be spawning. Will beGenius make a play here to get aggressive on the top lane?
They're looking for a false start at the moment, or are they looking for mid-keep? I think that's going to be the play. Is there a wall down there, or are they working on the wall?
I think the wall got worked down already by the Arcane Punisher in the early game.
Okay.
But you're right, it's still hard to go for that. Your main auto attacker to burn down that wall is Thrall, and Thrall, while he can burst out damage with his Wind Fury, it's not enough to keep down a keep. I think they were mostly looking for False Dead, but Sport Billy played so well in terms of being passive that he was able to live.
This is, I mean, this is scary. This situation alone is quite scary. Now I'm just going to wait on the flank here, but this Punisher, there goes Commandeer Odin as well, so big damage is going to come out straight away. Tank for the win gets jumped on towards, but he has enough to sustain himself as well as those heals coming out from Malfurion. It's hard and focused again, so those regrowths are coming out very quickly.
Iron Skin pop for Johanna, goes for the aggressive play. Crystplosion forced to retreat. Nice cleanup here by beGenius, giving some chase here as well as Kirwa starts to poke. Can Tank get a wolf off? The answer is no. And they will pull away, and overall, solid defense.
I've got to agree. They cleaned that up much faster than I expected them to.
Mirror ball, man.
Yeah, mirror ball. It's pretty good. So now they're going to move down towards the bottom, looking for a Dahaka. And
they might get it here. There's the root, and there goes the tunnel to move away. Johanna comes in. There's the mighty Gust. Falstad here for his teammate at all points. Another play by Sports Billy.
Yeah. Don't know what to say. Just keep giving him Falstad.
It's kind of interesting. Chris was like the playmaker on this team, but Sports Billy is making a name for himself for probably MVP of this series.
So far, yeah. All these Gusts, bar 1 or 2 in our Towers of Doom game, just really been on point. That Li Ming kill down towards the bottom with that Gust, for example, that alone got themselves some traction in the game where they can start rivaling for certain positions, etc. To then where they got a Punisher as freely as they did up towards the top. So, absolutely, MVP in this game so far, in the series even.
I have to agree with you. Caleris right now, beGenius is working towards level 20 while playing Dux has a Johanna pushing in the top right corner.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's aggressive, but it's one of the best clears you can have. The good news is if she backs immediately, the moment she sees the 3 to 4 disappear from the bottom lane, she is doing it safely. So we'll get some experience. Zul, though, Arakeen will be able to soak that experience, and they should be level 20 here right when the next shrine pops up. So they may have a small window, and there's the shrine, where they can get into a fight with the playing Dux.
Oh, okay, that's a good little cap. Oh, that's a brilliant little couple of caps there, so that they can put pressure on. Good pressure. So, do you just give this up as playing Dux?
It depends on what kind of a shrine is it. Is it an arcane? I need to see really quickly here if it's an arcane or if it's going to be a frozen. We'll find out when the shrine actually activates. Because I don't remember the order off the top of my head. If it's an arcane, I feel like you start poking it. It's a frozen. I'm okay with giving up a frozen. The Moan's probably the weakest one in terms of like one that you actually have to fight. It looks like they're going to grab a 4 down here on the bottom right, and they could go for an all-in-two fight.
They could try. They're not going to get up there quickly enough to rival that. So Chris is going to base. Everyone's going to get themselves in a good position to defend, but at least they'll have 20.
And with it being a frozen too, Johanna can bait it over the wall. She'll have her Iron Skin, so there's no chance of her getting picked off. So they do have a solid defense. They also have Odin available at the same time.
Wind Tunnel. All right, this is cool because Wind Tunnel now will push those guys away and give them a pretty good size amount of time for them to clean up the Punisher, maybe save keep. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see how this is gonna play out. Wind Tunnel.
There it is. Pops away the opposing team. They start focusing it down to about a quarter health. I'm almost half the health as well. The ETC, though, is looking for an engage. There goes the power slide. The cleanse was immediate. There goes the big red button. Danaton taking damage, forced to bolt away, but the keep is what the main target is for beGenius, and they will get it.
Now, I'm pretty sure this happened. I could just be speculating and being completely wrong, but they absolutely, once 20s came in, they checked what was there, they were prepared for Wind Tunnel. You could see them, as soon as they got hit by that initial gust, very quickly spread out to actually navigate their way around that Wind Tunnel, a quick haste. So I've got to commend beGenius with their responsiveness to that kind of play.
Heads up play. Nande playing safe in the top left, though, because he needs to be heads up, as that could be a pickoff for him if the opposing team moved in. Now, beGenius has started the cycle of catapults down the middle lane, so that pressure will always be in the back of the mind of playing Dux. Luckily for them, they have one of the best comps for dealing with it. They have Falstad, they also have Dahaka, so that global pressure should be able to save them in this environment that they are now pushed into by beGenius.
Yep. All right, so mortal wound as well. Did we even talk about that? But that's the playmaker when it comes to dealing with that ancestral heal later down the line.
It's insane against a Rhaegar with ancestral healing.
Yeah.
You can negate that ancestral healing, so suddenly your Rhaegar now has to hit the clutch timing of the heal, but also play around the Zul that's bringing out the cleave. It's one of the hardest talents to play into as a healer.
All right, so in theory, no Punisher is going to directly finish a game because the next Punisher is not going to spawn middle, so beGenius can't use that to then just go straight to core. But one problem that I foresee is that wherever a Punisher spawns next, when they get keep, it's very difficult for playing Ducks to draw that Punisher away from them pushing on towards core. Because the middle one's down, the two keeps are just too far away from one another. So if we see a big play from the next Punisher for beGenius up towards the top, then yeah, that could be core.
That it could be. The Shrine activates in the top. The Hawk is already starting the clear lane there, so playing Ducks can actually deal with this pressure. Now, something that beGenius is doing very well is they're grabbing Mercs here in the middle, but they're also grabbing the Mercs in the bottom, so they have pressure, which means when the Globals have to pull back, both Falstad and Dahaka will be primed here to help with the defense. Now, beGenius has two things they can do. They can set up and try and go for an engage on one of these Globals and poke them off, or they can just start the Shrine immediately here. They're actually relatively spread out. I see Thrall and Li Ming set up, while the other members move towards the Shrine for a potential pickoff of one of these Globals. Falstad would be the main target, but he has the easier escape.
Look at this. Trying to go for it. Oh, misses that Wolf. Even going to go for the Gust and get those guys out of position. Quick snap responses. It means it's not going to be there for the defense, for the challenge of the Shrine, but they're going to go for the fight towards here, and that could be big here, as they can actually almost bring Arakeen low, but that's a double mosh pit on towards two. Tychus is going to fall, Wolfdro's going to fall, and that is going to break the back here off playing Ducks. They have not much damage left available.
Unfortunately, Johanna used all of her abilities there to get that Zul kill, and they did not get it. Danoten came in with a heads-up power slide into Mosh Pit. Chris Explosion is trying to buy time for his team right now. One, so they can get up their Mighty Gust wind tunnel, and two, so members of the team can actually spawn and defend against this Punisher.
Yeah, and, well, the funny thing is that because the Punisher's up there, because it's not really that well done or anything like that, playing Ducks doesn't necessarily lose here, so they're going to be up in time, I think, for that defense. Because it's, again, as you say, it's all about buying as many seconds as possible to then delay the ensuing motives of your opponent.
Okay, well, beGenius is finishing the Shrine. They'll have an Arcane Punisher awarded to them, but as you mentioned, Tychus is up within 5 seconds, Rhaegar in 6. Johanna should be up before the game can possibly end here. So we'll see how they manage to hold this. They cannot lose a member, so you see all playing Ducks playing safe,
right,
not to get picked off by the power slide.
So this is a strong push. They're going to have a hard camp. They've got quite a large wave. They're going to have Zul to add any little skeletons there if he actually comes along eventually. That's Wind Tunnel already popped to keep ETC away from them. And again, bear in mind, they don't have anywhere to take this Punisher once it goes, and that's already Dahaka gone down. Frontline is crippled.
No adaptation used, no burrow at all. Immediate takeoff on the Dahaka, and now Falstad's poor Billy taken out as well. Kirwa is just splitting this team apart here with these wave of forces. The Repulsions too strong overall and stable, helping out the damage straight on the core. And Wolf Joe low on HP. Tychus the only one here, and this is going to be a win for beGenius if they can get the pressure on the core. There it is, dropping here 20%, 10%, 0. beGenius scores their first win in the series and will be down here 2-1, but they started the road to the comeback.
Yes, they have. It's good to see that because it goes all the way back to the draft, where we mentioned that it was a change of pace in the draft. Don't go as heavy frontline warrior. Try and get yourself some of the big damage dealers that you feel comfortable on, beGenius. They did that, and they executed it well, so good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. Game number 4 coming up between these two teams. We'll be right back.